All the IPL teams have now reached the UAE for the 13th edition of the league. The teams will be quarantined in UAE for 6 days. Captain Virat Kohli and his teammates are trying to get in shape for the league after 5 months of being under lockdown. Here's a picture he posted on the social media of Royal Challengers Bangalore. Now, this isn't the first time that the league has moved out of India, but the third time it has happened. The reason this time is not elections, but coronavirus, the pandemic. To talk to us about IPL and staging it in UAE, the experience that we are going to have, I have the owner of, in fact, co-owner of Kings 11 Punjab, Ness Wadia, with me. Ness, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and talking to us. Tell us, how you raced against time to put together the tournament, because, it was cancelled in the April, then you got to know earlier in August that it'll happen, and now, the tournament is kick-starting.
I just want to quickly wish all the viewers and everyone a happy Ganesh Chaturthi and Khorded Sal Mubarak, firstly. Moving on to your question, see, the IPL has always been a tournament which adjusts. Right from 2008, when within a month we had to move the entire tournament to 2009. I mean, it was a total shock and, total surprise which just came up, and we managed to do that. So frankly, we're used to it. I think in terms of adjusting, I think we're very happy that the IPL is actually happening. Mm-hmm. We're so happy that the cricketers and the fans and everyone gets a chance to see it. So I think, we're just happy it's happening, and all the co-owners, all the owners of all the franchise and my co-owners are just happy it's happening, and we're all going to adjust, and we have adjusted, and we're just going forward.
Ness, this is not the first time that you've moved the tournament out of the country. This is the third time, but the first time due to a pandemic. How different is it moving out this time? And really, what are the challenges that lie before the franchises?
Well, there's not really much. I mean, in terms of moving out, that's the same. I think now it's just the protocols which are in place, the bubbles which are in place, the safety precautions required, the quarantine required for 2 weeks before you go, the safety and bubble required while you're there, the insurance that, no player sort of violates or behaves in a silly manner in terms of, whether he or any of the other crew hypothetically go in the wrong car or do something silly. So I think you have to be very, very aware. And I have no doubt that all the players and all the franchises and everyone will rise to that occasion. And I think one has to be very careful and wary and alert. So that's the big difference.
What about you? Would you be traveling to the UAE to watch the matches?
I hope so. I do hope so. I'm not sure. There's no clarity at the moment as to whether we'll be able to watch. So if we're not going to be...
how close you can get to your team, there is also no clarity regarding that.
Listen, I just want to make very clear that the owners are all the owners in terms of the IPL. Sorry, my iPad is just charging. All the owners, are very clear that the players have to be segregated. We have to behave differently. So I think this is a different tournament compared to earlier ones. We have to adjust and adapt. If we get to see our players, great. If not, we can use Skype and various technology. As far as myself going, I do hope we're allowed to go. And if we're not, then, that's fine. If we're not allowed to go in the stadium, I don't think I'll probably end up going.
Ness, in 2014, when you moved the tournament there, Kings 11 Punjab won 5 out of 5 matches there. So do you consider UAE to be a happy hunting ground for your team, for your franchise?
Definitely. I think Maxwell is looking forward to it. We've got the right coach in place now. We've got great captain, KL Rahul, Anil Kumble, so I think it's going to be a good tournament. We've got Sheldon Cottrell, who batted really well against us yesterday in the CPL, nearly took it away from us, so he can bowl and bat. I mean, we've got a wonderful team, I think, where we don't have the biggest superstars as some of the other teams, but I think we've got a very, very good balance in all departments.
Ness, I'll talk about your experiences in the CPL and the learnings that you're bringing here. But before that, I have to get in one word about Glen Maxwell, who scored 300 runs from the 5 games that you played in 2014. Will he be playing from match number 1 in the IPL, or will he be in quarantine because of the series, England versus Australia series before, when the tournament starts?
I'm not too sure as to what will happen, but I do hope, we're hopeful that he'll be able to play right from the word go. But if he doesn't, you know, we've got the right backups in place. I mean, we've got some wonderful players this year. I think really it's going to be very exciting. The small grounds, I think, are going to have a lot of excitement also for the fans. You see, the smaller the ground, the shorter the boundary, the more the sixes and the fours. I think this IPL is going to be probably the best we've ever had, in my personal opinion.
Really? But shorter the boundary, death of the bowlers, that's what they say. Ness, talking about your learnings in the CPL, you have a team playing there. I would imagine there is a bio bubble there as well. So what is it that you're learning there and you're going to implement in the IPL?
See, it's frankly speaking, you just have to be safe. You have to be very alert. You have to follow the protocols. Number one, you've got to follow the protocols no matter what. You have to be very alert until you get back into your own room. Until then, you have to be very alert, very aware. You have to pay attention. And I think most importantly, one has to look at what others are doing, you know, to protect that. And ensure that everyone complies. I think it's a team effort. It's not only an individual effort.
And in terms of the coaching staff, you know, Anil Kumble has said the biggest challenge will be for the coaching staff to help the players be mentally fit during this tenure, 82-day period they will be in the UAE. Do you think the same way, and is the franchise providing them any extra support in order to keep the players mentally fit, apart from being physically fit for the IPL?
Whatever support they've asked for, we've given and will continue to give. I think definitely, you know, they'll have to wear or adapt and adjust and wear different suits or behave differently, conduct themselves differently. I think one of the biggest worries is for all franchises is that players are coming in without really having the right, you know, sort of physical fitness, the right practice in terms of cricket, and various things like this. Personally, I think a lot of them will adjust. I think 99% of them will adjust and adapt, and you'll see them come back into form. Some might not, but I think definitely, I think, you know, we need to. I think the BCCI and IPL need to consider, and in fact, you know, we will be looking at that, whether it's like the EPL has had more substitutes, for example.
Right.
So in the English Premier League or any of the football leagues, they have 3 substitutes. This year they've had 5, simply because they know that there might be that issue of lack of fitness and lack of match practice, and therefore they might not be able to play the full 45 minutes. Second point being that, you know, there might be a break, or there is a break in the English Premier League and football matches after 22 minutes, not in the Champions League, but. So these are various things which, you know, one can explore and ensure that not only the players but the support staff have the right time and can give the right support to the players to ensure that they perform at over 100%.
Right. Thank you very much, Ness, for joining us on the broadcast and getting all those views. We'll keep coming back to you during the tournament as well, and all the best to your team.
Thank you.